What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a long time since I posted anything. I just want to give you an update. So a whole lot of water has traveled under the proverbial bridge since the last time I posted. For example, my buddy Creel and my buddy Cups went with me to Swan Bridge not too long ago. They were able to get through the spot that I can normally just crawl right through. I guess because of my quote-unquote grandpa tires, as Phil likes to call them. I got stuck, couldn't make it, and had to winch out of it. I had said something about the weird sound underneath the Jeep, and I was trying to figure out what was going on. And I called around a bunch of people. I talked to friends. I had other people look at it. And the original shop that did all the work on my rear end, they reached out to me on Facebook and said, hey, just bring it back into us and we'll look at it. So I took it up there to them, and they were trying their best to try to figure out what the noise was. Could not figure it out. Turns out that the Adams Driveshaft that I ordered for the rear end was like 2 inches too long. They had accidentally measured it incorrectly for whatever reason, so I had to ship that off and have it shaved down to size. They said that that is most likely the problem. So I got that done, and then I came back, got it replaced, put back on, whatever, and it was still something was wrong. So at that point they said, oh, well, maybe it's because we used Revolution gears, and Revolution gears on a JL are really bad about making noise. So we'll replace the gears that we used with Dana Spicers, which is what I had on there originally, and see if that fixes it. So I had to wait on the gears to get shipped and come in and everything else. So between saying, yes, let's do it, and taking it back out there to get them installed, I thought about it a whole lot, and I said, man, that means I got to go back through the gear break-in and all that other kind of crap again, and take it back up there and make sure that, you know, there's no grinding or anything else going on, make sure everything's done correctly. I ran around for like 2 months with no doors, no top, and I couldn't hear anything. All I heard was wind noise, and everything sounded fine. I put the top back on right before I took it up there to have the gears done, and there was no sound, none. I thought, huh. So I texted the shop and I said, hey, for whatever reason, it just randomly stopped. It's hardly noticeable at all. So let's just hold off, because I don't want to have to go through the gear break-in and all that kind of crap again. So let's just skip it. And then a month later, I want to say, it started making a terrible sound again. Terrible sound. Called them up and I said, hey guys, yeah, so it's definitely messed up again. Something is definitely wrong. It sounds absolutely terrible. So let me go ahead and get those gears, and hopefully it'll fix it. So I go up there, I get the gears installed. I went through the whole break-in process again, and throughout the whole break-in process, the sound was still there. Not near as bad. Now, it wasn't the terrible just kind of sound or whatever, but that whole sound that's been there this whole time I've been complaining about was still there. When I took it back in, I just got them check it, and at this point I was like, okay, I'm gonna go get somebody else to look at it, because they couldn't find it. They looked and looked. They thought it was the gears. They thought it was the drive shaft. It wasn't that. So I got some other opinions. One guy referred me to another guy that's like a gear expert. And I told him the whole story, how the whole thing happened from end to end. And he said, dude, I don't even have to look at it. And I can tell you it's almost guaranteed to be your actual axle housing is messed up. Something like whoever, probably 4-wheel parts going all the way back to when they worked on it at first. Whenever they put the carrier back in, they didn't know what they were doing, and they put it in wrong, put it in sideways or whatever. And now, like, the hole where it sits is basically wallowed out. It's not fixable. You just have to buy a whole new housing. So that was extremely depressing. And I thought, you know what? While it doesn't sound terrible, I'm going to trade it. And then I know that's terrible. I know I'm a terrible person, but I was going to say, I'm going to trade it in on something else and let somebody else deal with it, because I'm done with it. Well, I went to Carvana, and long story short, had basically everything was done, and they were coming to get the car Monday. And so the Saturday before, I thought, well, I'm going to take, because they're not giving me any extra for some of the stuff that I got on here, right? So I'm going to go take the Adams Driveshaft off and put the stock driveshaft back on. That was an absolutely terrible idea. When I loosened up the yoke on the back to replace the 1350 yoke with a factory Rosepa joint style yoke, it messed up the preload and completely ruined the whole setup. So at that point, I was desperately calling everybody, hey, oh my God, I've totally FUBAR'd my axle. Can somebody help? Anybody know anything about axles, gear setup, blah, blah. No one had any of the JL parts in stock, and it was going to be like Wednesday before they could get it, and just a big giant mess. And I wound up calling Carvana and canceled the order. And then my wife and I were talking about it, and she's like, you know what? Like, you didn't want to get rid of the Jeep anyway. Just go ahead and build it the way you were going to do. So it all worked out in the end, I guess, maybe. I don't know. So a whole lot of money later, I am going to be building this Jeep the way I wanted it for years now. It's been the way it sits. I've had it like this since almost right after I got it in 2018. It's been basically exactly the same. So I'm going to be building it up, and I hope to show you my progress along the way. Who knows? I may just do a big reveal at the end. So we'll see. Just want to give you an update.